So the mind says, tell me what I have to do. And if we have a framework, then boom, we can relax. The goals are like the train stations, and the railroads are your habits. If you set yourself on these railroads built out of habits, you're going to reach the next station. But the next station is not the destination. So let's remember this formula, which is going to help you to get things done sooner and faster. First, I do the change. Then I get the result. I want this a big result, but what's the smaller one that is going to allow me to get there? Great intentions are good, but they're not enough. Let's not confuse that by knowing more, I'll believe more in myself and my abilities to reach my destination. Why great people with great potential, with great intentions, don't get things done. They just don't get the results. I've been there and I know how painful it is when we have great intentions. Seemingly we have a sort of structure, a plan, how to get there. We set goals and still we don't get the results. And when we are in that situation, we start to blame everything. We start to blame maybe the mission was wrong, maybe the strategy was wrong, maybe my goal was, maybe, or most importantly, we start to blame ourselves. I'm not enough, I'm not smart enough, I'll never get there, and we start to fill with self-doubt, and we better don't continue on that list. So today I want to share with you something that changed my life and helped me to structure the way I feel, think, and act so that I can get things done. And after I've changed my life, I started to help others and changing hundreds of lives. So I want to say one day, millions of lives. So that's why I need your help, but I will come back to it a little bit later. So what can we do so that we can get the results? Great intentions are good, but they are not enough. Of course, we need strategy, goal, we need many other things. But there are some principles, there are some laws that they never change. And those five of them I want to share with you today. So, are you ready? Are you ready? I know you can change because I can change. Everybody can change. So, tell to yourself now, I can change. I can change. You said it? I can change. Good. Now, I'm going to say something different, and I would like you to answer by saying, I'm not one of them. All right? So, just prepare the answer. I'm not one of them. All right. So, I'm going to say, most people won't change. I say, I'm not one of them, because you are not going to be one of them if you're willing to do the little things. So my encouragement before we start is, before we get things done, bigger things done, we have to learn to get little things done. And during today's masterclass, I'm going to have some questions for you, and I'm inviting you to pose and answer those questions. And look, in the next 30-40 minutes, you can already get done some little things. And while you are going to answer these questions, you're going to feel something, which I'm going to recall during this masterclass. All right, so are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go. Let's start this journey, and let's start with these principles. But before, let me welcome you to Exploraself and Mindset Business Academy. My name is Alexandr, and I'm welcoming you. I'm going to do my best today so that you not only understand, but also let it go through your mind, let it go through your feeling system, through your thinking system, so that you can implement and change that. All right? And change you, because you will see later why. So the 5 most frequent reasons why people with great potential never get from intentions to the results. All right. So before we look at these principles, we have first to understand what is exactly the result that I'm looking for. And I'm telling you, most of us, sometimes we have this feeling, this pain where we can get done. But at the question, what is exactly that you want to get done? We stumble, we struggle to answer. And that should not be our case. So what's your mountain? By mountain, I mean the result that you're looking for. What it is, specifically. Not just generally, not just I would like to, but what exactly I'm looking for, especially now a new year is coming. So you definitely, you're prone to think a little bit about the past year and thinking like, yeah, I could have, a little bit better something. So now that you're looking at the new year, what's exactly your mountain that you're looking for? Sometimes it's not easy to answer this question, but we've got to do it. So if you don't have it clearly defined, pause this video right now and define for yourself at least one, but even better, four things, 4 mountains that you want to climb this year. All right. So answer it and write it down. All right. So the number 1 is this: why we don't get to the result. If there is a misconception, I will get the result, some grammatical things there, then I will change. The fact is that change happens before the result happens. All right, so you might say, oh, okay, this is too philosophical. I need something practical. So look, imagine if you want to lose weight, and you're imagining yourself, I would really like to lose weight and look different and feel different. But if we don't change the way we eat or our lifestyle, then we don't get the result. So first, we have to start to change something in our nutritional habits, in our nutritional plan, and add some activity on top, and then we get the results. And here's the thing, that we have to do first the investment without having the result. So we have to do something, believing that this change will get me there. So in way to follow that plan or that strategy, we have to change our attitude towards nutrition, towards food, towards our habits that we used to have. We gotta change them before the results happen. Why am I saying this? Because very often we are so focused on the result and we forget about the fact that we gotta change. And this is a little bit painful. Now, what to change, we'll see a little bit later. I'm going to suggest you a couple of things. But it's very important to get into this mindset that first I change, then I get the result. And if we do not fully let it penetrate our minds, this mindset shift, that first I do the change, then I get the result. Let's look for something different. If you want to have a love partner in your life, and if perhaps you struggle approaching, or you struggle networking or getting out there, and where the people are gathering that have similar interests and values like you, we think that when I'm with someone, then I would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But until then, I'll keep doing what I'm doing. I'll keep behaving the way I'm behaving. But I want so much to get the result. I want it so much. I want to lose weight. But so how can I get there, but without changing anything? So I think it's clear we don't have to go too long. I know we are smart and we understand things, and it's easy to understand it, but it's not easy to apply. But once you start applying it, when you start to get into this frame, okay, good. That's the result that I'm looking for. What's the change? This I gotta change. Good. That's amazing. So let's look at these changes. What are the changes that you already know that you have to make? I assure you 90% of the people that I also help or coach through the questions that I bring up, they already have the answer. They already know what they have to change. So I'm sure that you already know what they have to change. Maybe there's a habit, maybe there's a thing, it's a way of thinking about yourself or about your goal or about your result or about a material, for example, or some specific knowledge. I don't know so much about the marketing and I want to increase my sales, but I don't know much about it. So I have to change the way I'm working and I got to start learning more about it. So whatever it is, you already know. You already know what are those changes. So are you going now to pause the video and write them down? What are those 4 habits, but not even habits, a change in my mind that are preventing me from getting there wherever I want to get? And in the moment when your mind is going to tell you like, yeah, but that's hard. Boom, use the first principle. First happens the change, then comes the result. Change, the result. So we have to bring these them together rather than letting them divorced and separated. All right, good. Forward. What you want is the result of your change. The change is the first result you're looking for. What you want to achieve is the result of your change. So the change is the first result that you're looking for. All right. So I'm just reinforcing now again that changing is the result that you're looking for, so that you can get the ultimate result that you're aiming at. Kind of this way, if you want to climb the mountain, getting closer to the mountain is the first result that you're looking for. So when you start to create these micro processes, okay, I want this a big result, but what's the smaller one that is going to allow me to get there? Okay, good. Let me do the change that allows me to get closer to the mountain, which I haven't done. Then I will implement new changes along the way when I'm closer to the mountain. So making the change is the first result that you're looking for. So then you can structure better what are the next future changes for the ultimate result that you're looking for. Because you already know along the way, then when you achieve the result, then you say, oh, I gotta go higher, I can go bigger. So even that ultimate result is going to change. Why? Because you are going to change. And when you change, then you also start to think bigger and then say, now we can go even farther. All right. So there's the first one. Let's look at another one. Experience. I'm just reinforcing the first one, then we move into the next one. Experience is not the best teacher. Reflection is the best teacher. What does it mean? That means that while we are struggling to make the changes, and we struggle, and seemingly sometimes even for years, we are stuck there, but the impression within ourselves is, oh, I'm doing my best, I'm working hard, I'm doing a lot, so I'm experienced. Well, bad news. Sometimes we think that the experience teaches us, but it's the reflection that teaches us. So let's not forget about this fact, that the reflection is the best teacher, not the experience, because we might be struggling for 10 years and still not getting the result, thinking that we're experienced, and this ego starts to get bigger because I've got the experience, I know how, I've learned so much, but still you haven't got the results. Because we avoid this reflection. So it's not the experience, it's the reflection. All right. So maybe you want to write down, or maybe pause this video and do this thing now for yourself, for experiences, for last experiences that you've gone through, and write down 4 insights out of those 5 experiences. So let's start to train this muscle of translating experience into insights. Here is one of the greatest secrets if you want to get things done sooner and faster. While doing whatever you can, every experience, analyze it and extract an insight from it and implement that insight into the next structure. So allow yourself to be flexible for your future goals by using the insights which you extract from the experience that you go through. And we have to do that in the best case every single day, because we go through an experience every single day, and each experience needs to give us an insight. Otherwise, those experiences, they just remain experiences, and they start to create this idea in our head that we're experienced, and we start to accept the result. But we haven't changed. Why? Because we haven't reflected. And that's because we haven't extracted the insights, and reflection is what helps us to extract the insights out of the experience. Train yourself to do that. And these exercises, these questions that I have for you here are going to train you that specific muscle that you need to train so that you can extract, implement, re-implement, change, adopt, adjust, move forward. This is the first principle. Change happens before the result happens. Get into this framework. It will change your life. I know it seems obvious, but when you start to do it and apply in every situation, boom, it happens again, comes a worry, a doubt, or a confusion, boom, stop a little bit, boom, backward. What's the change that I gotta make is going to allow me to get closer to the result that I'm looking for? All right, let's move to the principle number 2. Principle number 2. Let's start with a misconception. Goals build habits, whereas habits build the goals. All right, let's think a little bit about this. The misconception is the goals build the habits. And that's a little bit off. Because we think, because again, the title of this video is about intentions. When we give birth to this intention and we create it, and it seems majestic to ourselves, and it seems so a surefire formula for success, we get a little bit biased. And when we start to set a goal, we set the goal and we say, I'm on it. I'm on my way. I'm already there. We are not. We just have set the goals, which is very important, very important. But the habits that you are going to change in your life are going to allow you to achieve those goals, to smash off the list of those goals. The goal is, it's something philosophical. It might have a practical value within itself, but you're not there yet. So it's abstract for now, and it will be transformed, materialized if we focus on the habits. What are the habits that are not allowing me to reach every goal? This is a great question. The goal is not the result. The result is the result. The result is the result that you're looking for. The mountain that you're looking for, that is the mountain. So think in this way. The goals are like the train stations, and the railroads are your habits. If you set yourself on these railroads built out of habits, you're going to reach the next station. But the next station is not the destination. So let's remember this formula, which is going to help you to get things done sooner and faster, and not remaining into the intention area, but getting things done. The goal is not the result. The goal is like the train station. The railroads are your habits, and the result is the destination. And every goal is a step, a station along the way towards your destination. But without habits, nothing can move. The train can't move because you're not having the habits. If you sleep in the morning, if you avoid making the calls that you have to make every day, or to learn, or to go deeper into something that you need for a business, or to hire someone, if you don't do the things, and if you don't allow yourself, you don't create an environment for yourself where you can grow, because you have these habits of postponing, of procrastinating, of doubting yourself, of worrying yourself, spending time for what you shouldn't be spending time, which you already know what are those things. Without these clear habits that are going to change our lives, we can get to the next station. And if we can't get to the next station, we can't reach the destination. So, my dear friend, while we are dreaming about the destination, while we are looking at the mountain and we say, I want to get to the mountain and it's big, we start to get scared sometimes. We start to fly and then we smash and they'll say, oh my gosh, let me go on a hill because I don't want to go on a mountain anymore. Sometimes we'll lose this. Happens in people's lives. And that's not what I want for you. And that's not what you want for you. Nobody wants that. So the habits, which are painful, we have to change those little habits. They are going to allow you to reach your goals and then to arrive at your destination. So the goal is not the result, but they need to be achieved, right? So write down 4 goals between you and the mountain, all right? So what are we doing now? Rather than focusing so much on the mountain, yes, of course, we have to always have it as our final destination, or something like the big rail is something that we might achieve in a year or 2 and 3. I want to bring your focus a little bit on the ground, to ground it a little bit. What are the goals between me and the mountain? And you might say, I have to do many things. I have to do this, I have to do that, and I'm so busy doing this, I'm so busy doing that. These are the most answers sometimes when we reach this step in my work. I know. Okay, good. What do you know that you have to do? I have to do this, I have to do that, I have to do this, I have to do that. I was like, okay, that's all. These are great and are your tasks and things that you want to focus on. But what is your goal that you want to achieve at the end of this month, at the end of this or this quarter or semester and so on and so forth? What are your goals? Without the stations, we can't say that we know exactly where we want to arrive if we don't know the trajectory. It means we haven't thought about it. We haven't opened the map to see what are the stations that I am going to go through, so then I can reach my destination. So yes, it might change along the way, but we've got to know, to open the map and to know what was the road. Otherwise, it seems to us that we're getting closer to our destination, to the mountain, but we're simply running away from the past station. And here is one of it's a gold formula. It's a question. Ask yourself, am I running from away from the past station, or have I focused enough? What are going to be my next stations, and what's specifically, exactly my destination that I'm looking for? All right. So what are these goals that you already know that you want to achieve, to smash, to get them done? We have to. Now write down 4 habits that are preventing you from achieving that goal. All right. So now we got the mountain as the destination. We have the stations. We have the train. We have the railroads. Now the railroads are your habits. What habits do I have that are preventing you from achieving the goal? You have a habit of postponing it. You have a habit of making it too complicated. You have a habit of rethinking it for the 1st, 5th, 6th, 10th time. You never take action because you have a habit of thinking about making it perfect. And you always have this voice, this question, how can I make it perfect? How can I make it perfect? But you don't do it. It's a habit. And I know you already know your habits. Write them down. Write them down. If you don't write them down because you don't know them, then you've got something, a bigger problem to solve. It's called clarity. Am I clear enough about what are my goals? Because when you start to be very clear about your goals, you'll start to be very clear about the habits that you have and you shouldn't. And you got to stop doing them, practicing them. And you say, yeah, I know that. Yes, and that's amazing. Remember the first one? Change happens before the result happens. This is a law. This is not a suggestion. This is a law. When we change, the results change as well. It's a law and it works for everybody. Now write down 4 habits. I know it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And this is a masterclass. It's not a simply, let's have a conversation. It's a job to be done. 4 habits that are necessary to achieve your goal. Just knowing, here's one very important thing. When you can't achieve your goals, and it seems that there is the fault of somebody or anything, or maybe you're not good enough. Focus on this thing. Do I know the habits that I have to implement, the new habits that I want to have in my life? But at the same time, do I know the habits that I have to stop doing? Because sometimes it's enough to stop doing what we already know that we have to stop doing. And then we'll get even more clarity about what are the habits that I have to implement. Maybe that's discipline. Maybe that's controlling your energy. Maybe it's controlling your tongue, where you are speaking, spending energy with. Who are those people? I have this habit of spending too much time here or there. Or it's about, as I say, maybe it's the energy, maybe it's time, because all your resources, when it's about climbing the mountain, is how to manage your time, how to manage your energy, how good you are controlling your thoughts, and how good are you at interpreting and using your emotions. We're very focused now on the self-leadership. It's about you. So it's not about leadership. It's not about serving others. It's about you getting better at getting the results, from the intention to the results, right? So that's why we're focused on you, 100% on you. All right. So what are the habits that are preventing you from achieving your goals? And what are the habits that are necessary? You already know. If I want to know a little bit more about this, then I have to learn more about that matter. Or if I want to get better at networking, then I've got to ask somebody to introduce myself, to present, to contact, to get out to the people, or whatever might be your goal. What are the habits necessary that some not always are the same things? What are those that you have to stop doing, and those that are preventing, and those which are necessary to be updated? All right. Principle number 3, following fixed results. It's a misconception. What would be the solution? Have standards over rules. Value standards over the rules. At the beginning, when we haven't climbed a mountain yet, or maybe we just climbed a kind of mountain, but not a real mountain, then we really want to find formulas that are going to reassure us that if I do this, then 1,000,000% I'm going to get there. Well, the path is different. We have different personalities, way of thinking, behaving, organizing, preferences and ideas and visions. Therefore, we have to learn to change the rule, because sometimes we have some rules that we believe that they are going to allow us to get there, to reach our goals, and to finally arrive at our destination, whatever it is. But those rules are not working. So let's raise the bar of the standard rather than being extremely focused on the rules. I know so many people that have this rule. I have this rule. I'm always do this. I'm more active in the morning. I'm more active in the evening. So I have this rule of 3, rule of 4. Okay, good. But if they're not working, then probably need different rules. So rather than being satisfied and somehow happy about yourself because I'm respecting my rules, what are your standards? And have your standards higher and change the rules if necessary. All right. This is an invitation towards, hey, what if something that I was so sure about that is great and will work and should work, actually it's not working for me. So I might be changing it. Why not? Find your way, make it your way, and let things to happen in your life in such a way that they teach you exactly what you want to learn, and they are there for a very specific reason. They're not just, nothing happens just because it happens. It happens exactly for you. And somewhere there are those lamps that are signaling red, change that rule, but we're attached more to the rule rather than on the standards. And then we don't change the rules. And if we don't change the rules, the game is the same, and the same is also the outcome. And that's not what you want. We want to get the results. We want to change the rules, change the game, and get things done. All right. So the mind wants rules. Let's talk about these rules. Fear wants stability, and the results require action, courage, and flexibility. It's very wise to be flexible. The mind says, the ego says that, no, you're going to stand for our principles, for our rules. Okay, but they're not getting you there where you want to get. So let's understand this thing, that the mind wants the rules, because the mind is a mathematical process. So the mind says, look, tell me what I have to do. And if we have a framework, then boom, we can relax. Well, we have to learn to relax even when things are uncertain, so that we can remain grounded. We can keep respecting the habits. We can still looking at the standards and remaining aligned with our destination. But in order to remain grounded and aligned with your goals, with your destination, uncertainty is all over the place. And your mind is very scared of flexibility and changes. And your mind wants rules. Just give me the formula. There is no formula for how to build your life. There are some things how you can use some principles and matters. But if you can get towards your result, means that sometimes me and you We are attached to the rules because we're scared of change. But again, back to the first principle. Change happens before the result happens. Therefore, the results require action and courage and flexibility. And these are, it's against the stability. It's against the rules. So we have to be flexible and allow ourselves to change. The key word, allow. To allow ourselves to change. Sometimes we know what we have to change. We know, but we don't do. Because we prefer the rules rather than the standards or the destination. Let's not forget about this. So, what are the 4 rules you are following rigorously? Challenge them. I'm sure you have some rules. I do this, I do that. I prefer more this over that. I don't spend more than 30 minutes a week speaking to others because I'm very focused on my business. Have you been there? You know that when you're so focused only on yourself and you start to get cocoon yourself into this isolated area, and then you start to lose any connection with other humans, and then you start to feel lost, and then everything loses its meaning and it's not fulfilling anymore. But there is a rule that we respect. I'm not socializing because I heard that sometimes in our lives, imbalance is great. Well, that's true. But for how long? Maybe you have overstayed in that period and you got to regain a little bit of balance and then go in unbalanced phase again. Because I assume I'm speaking to you now if you're watching this video, is you have a mission, you have a vision in your business or in your life, so you're looking for something. So now you're into, I want to look for something bigger and I want to get things done. So let's challenge those rules which we were following so rigorously. And let's challenge them and let's see, what if I can change it? What if there might be a better rule than this? What if I'm attached to this rule from so long time ago, but it's not serving me anymore? Let's not get scared of challenging ourselves and see what is there that I know shouldn't. For standards you were overstepping recently, reinstall them. There is a standard. I'm sure you have standards. You have values. Or you overstepping them? Have you forgotten what was that fire, that mission, that idea, that vision that you are looking for? That value that you really wanted to bring into the world, to make it in your life. And sometimes we start to overstep those values and we have this great trade-off, but it's in our detriment. It doesn't help us. It destroys us because we start to overstep the values, and we think that if I can overstep my value and gain some time or to gain something, whatever that might be, that will help me to get there faster. It's not working that way. In order to remain grounded and powerful on your mission, you've got to remain also aligned on these railroads of your soul. I use the same example now, but let's use the same example, but for a different concept. If your train is your soul, then the values are your railroads. If you respect your values, then your soul is living, is giving you the intuition, is giving you the fire and the passion, the energy that you need in order to move forward. You start overstepping your values, you lose yourself. You lose yourself, you go crazy, you go into your mind, and then you start to, when you get things done, you're unfulfilled, you're not happy, you don't see meaning in what you've done. Why? Because you have abandoned yourself. How does it happen? How do we abandon ourselves? By overstepping our values. Translating it in a more practical language, we do not respect our standards. We're fixed on the rules, but we forget about the standards. Go back to your standards. So in this next year and for your whole life, set some standards that are going to help you to maintain that height rather than losing yourself and compromising yourself. It's not a worthy trade-off. And you better go back to your standards, to your values. So by standards, I mean also values. So if it's clear for you, then write it down. What are the values that you were overstepping recently? Write them down and reinstall them. Write them down, print them out, and focus on them. Get back to your true self. Then you are connected to your inner powers. Then you can go move forward and get things done, accomplishing your goals and reaching your destination. Principle number 4. I don't know enough. Hey, we'll never get out of this. All right, I know this, but let's look a little bit forward. It's not about how much you know or don't. It's about what you believe from out of everything you know. You can also know everything. And still, if you don't believe it, it is not going to help you. If you don't believe that you are worthy of your destination, of your goals, of that mountain that you want to climb, every kind of information is not going to help you. I might tell you about every tricks that you might need while climbing the mountain, but if you don't believe that you have the strength or you can develop that strength, you are going to forget all those tricks and nothing is going to work because you'll never climb the mountain because you don't believe that information that you already have. So it's not about how much you know, it's about what you believe out of everything that you know or don't. Because if you don't know something and you believe so much that that's because I don't know that specific information, test it out. And if you test it out, and things don't change, then probably you have to go to the principle number 3. What were the principles, the standards that I was overstepping? Because I've got the insight, I've got the reflection, it's not working, but I still believe that it's just because something I don't know. And once I know it, then I will get there. It's a misconception that I don't know enough. It's what you believe out of everything you know. I remember that I was speaking to one of our students, and when that student told me that, look, I know that I can change this. We were talking about this specific change in the way she was thinking. Say, I know I can change. But I also know that it's been for so long time that I was believing something else. Therefore, I know that I might not change. So she admits that, look, just because for so long I was believing something else, I know I could change. But I also know that probably I will never change. And I won't get there. I just can't. And if we believe that more than something else, then that is going to be the truth of our lives. So rather than focusing on what you don't know, ask yourself, how many things you already know and you are not doing them because you don't believe that they are going to bring you closer? And we never even start doing them because we believe that they will never get us closer, but we haven't tested them out. So start with what you believe and test it, see if it brings closer, if it allows you to grow, and if it doesn't, then allow yourself to understand that you've got to stop believing this story and ask yourself through the questions that I've shared with you previously in the last 30 minutes, if you do that work, you're going to find so many gaps, so many gold moments, because maybe there is one answer, one question that you really needed to pay attention out of this video, out of this masterclass. And maybe that's exactly one spot that you had to pay a little bit more attention. So do not avoid the work that you really have to do, and you know already, and you have to test it out before you start to change the narrative, rather than repeating the same story again and again. All right, good. So before we go to the last one, the next info will help me believe in myself. Knowledge builds knowledge. Self-esteem builds self-belief. Let's not confuse that by knowing more, I'll believe more in myself, in my abilities. I'm not saying capabilities. I'm saying abilities to reach my destination. Knowledge builds knowledge. Information becomes knowledge. You can have your whole ChatGPT in your head. If you believe that you're not worthy of, then your self-esteem is low, then you believe that story, nothing saves you. So we've got to work on our self-esteem. And how do we do that? Very interesting question. How do we build our self-esteem? There is a difference between self-esteem and self-confidence. And there is a difference between self-confidence and confidence. Confidence comes out of the experience. You do things, you become confident at doing that thing. And you do it easily. Self-confidence, I'm confident in myself that I can become better and better and one day have that confidence that I'm capable of doing whatever I'm looking for or capable of or worthy of that destination. So confidence, self-confidence, self-belief, self-esteem. If you don't respect yourself enough, probably 90% of the time, 90% of the times is because people don't know what they are made of. They think they are their minds, their status. They think they are the things that are in their possession. This is a surefire formula for keeping your self-esteem low. And if your self-esteem is low, your self-belief is low, self-belief is low, self-confidence is low, forget about confidence, forget about goals and reaching your destination. So the fact that we don't know what we're made of, we don't know, so many people walk on earth and they don't know what they're made of. And they don't want that for you. You have a soul, you have a mind, you have a spirit, you have a world behind of everything you see. And what happens there is going to have a direct impact on what you do. And if you inside yourself, you already do not consider yourself able of becoming, it's because you've trusted too much your thoughts that were telling you statistically about your past failures, and you believe you are your mind, you believe you are the statistics, and you don't believe that you can change. Back to the principle number 1, change happens before the result happens. Through the habits, through the goals, destination. So I'm not saying it's very simple, but it is simple. It feels complicated because we have to do some work. But it is not so complicated. It's painful, it requires time, and it requires care so that we can be careful with ourselves rather than beating ourselves, to encourage ourselves and to build our self-esteem by respecting the standards and the values. So we start from there. We make a decision. Self-esteem is a decision. Self-esteem, it's not I will feel in 5 minutes that my self-esteem is higher. Boom, I will do it. No, you won't feel like. But it's a conscious decision. You make the decision, you apply the standards and the values, and then you build your self-esteem up. And building your self-esteem up allows you to build your self-belief up. And when you build your self-belief up, then your self-confidence goes up. And when your self-confidence goes up, then your confidence and your capabilities, future capabilities, rises. And then you start to do the work diligently, work of force included. So I really hope that this chain is clear, and it starts with values that you have and you have to respect for yourself. And I already know that you already know them. Is it wrong? If you really don't know them, write an email at Exploraself. Alex. I'm going to leave the email in the description below. Write an email. I'll get in touch and let's do it together. Let's do it together. Why not? Let's look at the next one. I sincerely don't believe I could. I should change it for can, but could is good too. What do you sincerely believe that or you sincerely don't believe that you could come or have or be or change or act or anything else? What are those things that you really like? Look, this I could, that I could, but this I really don't believe I could. Write them down, reflect upon them, challenge them. Challenge yourself, because we have written out this story for ourselves for too long. And then we stop, we stumble, we spend years in self-doubt, and rather than acting boldly, we go in circles and merry around, and then we start to blame ourselves and things around us, which is going to be in the next slide. All right. So I sincerely don't believe I could. Write them down and challenge them. Simple, easy. Pause the video and answer this question. It's right in front of you. Pause. I'm going to leave the slide. 3, 2, 1. We move forward. The principle number 5. Why me? Why you? If we struggle, we have a team, maybe in our business or somebody. Why this? When we're almost close next to the mountain and things still somewhere don't go the way we planned or wanted, we start to get angry with me that I am not like this, or you haven't done your job. We start to blame others, ourselves, others, or we start to blame the circumstance. So these are the 3 words behind this: me, you, this. Ourselves, others, or the circumstance. Let's change it for why me? Why you? Why this? Why? Why me? Oh, because I'm looking for the mountain. I'm walking towards the mountain. That's why it happened for me. This is why. Because I'm on the journey. I'm on my path. Because I can change. Because I can challenge my beliefs. Because I can change the story. Because I can build different habits. Because I can stop repeating the habits that I've implemented or practicing for so long time. That's why. That's why me. That's why you. If somebody comes in your team and is really triggering and challenging you, of course, there are people toxic. Sometimes we gotta, hey, here we are. Here, these are our standards we agreed upon. You're not respecting them. One more chance, maybe not one more chance. You decide, and boom, things needs to be adjusted, because for one creates so problematic sometimes that brings the whole culture down in your team. So you already know that, all right? So, but sometimes there are problematic people that are there to help us to become ourselves, the better version of ourselves, so that we can give out the best to others. So rather than getting angry at someone, let's go back to that person that maybe is on your journey and ask, hey, look, I have a question for you. Well, why have you got this result that was not the result that we agreed upon? Maybe they don't have a clear system. Maybe they were instructed not clearly enough, or maybe they haven't been told. So, okay, good. That's why me. Let me write it down. Let me adjust it. So rather than focusing on to me, you, who's responsible? You're responsible, we're responsible, and blaming, of course. Who's responsible? You, okay, let's have a conversation and you resolve the thing. Absolutely. But not out of an attitude, something went wrong. Let me just find the guilty one so that I can call myself. Wait, why has that happened? Maybe this is happening also to others in my team, in my business, or in my life, or maybe to my friends. Or maybe you are by yourself, you are solopreneur. Ask around, hey, how is it going for you? How have you overcome this? So rather than focusing on you, that I'm not good enough, I'll never change. Why? That's why. Good. I can do something about it. Can't? What, can I do something else? No? Yes? If yes, what it is? And why this? How have I come? How it happened that I'm in this environment, in this situation right now? Oh, because I was thinking that aiming at that my destination, this is going to help me. Actually, it didn't. Oh, that's why. So rather than again putting the responsibility on the circumstance, why? How have I come? What happened before that happened now that I'm in this situation right now? What decisions have I made so that now I have to be more careful into not making or repeating whatever it is, so that I can change the situation tomorrow, for tonight, or in the next year? If you can change this shift and make this shift from why me, why you, why this, why me, why you, why this. So then together, boom, we can change not only ourselves, but we can change the environment, the culture, the team, the goal, the destination, the values, the standards, the processes, the systems. Everything needs to be changed. All right. Next one. About this change, a quick couple of minutes about people. People extreme pleasing and self-extreme focus. These are two, Pep and Seth. These are two guys, Pep and Seth. One is on the extreme, always pleasing others. The other one is always pleasing only themselves. How is this connected with the why me, why you, and why this? Because when we are in the people extreme pleasing, when the Mr. Pep is in charge, people extreme pleasing, I'm recovering people pleasing. Hello, my name is Alex. I'm your friend, but I do struggle with that. And trying to please people is not a bad thing. It's a great thing. Serving people, pleasing people, but people extreme pleasing means that you don't see what was the standard, what's the value, and you overstep the standard or personal value or business value, business standard, team's value, team standard, and you overstep it just to call for someone. Very dangerous. And when we are on these two extremes, we usually start to think about why me, in self-extreme focus, why me, or when we are in the people extreme pleasing, we're so focused into why you, or why me in people extreme, and when self-focus is why you. Because I'm so focused on myself, I'm perfect, I've done everything, but you, why haven't you done this? Why you have or haven't done this? And we're focused on to finding the guilty one rather than understanding the roots of the problem or the situation that led to where we are now, stuck between changes and the results. Focus more on the why, be mindful about it, and let's run away from these two extremes, because these two extremes, they're going to push us towards why me or why you, relatively, or respectively. All right. Okay. All right. So these two guys, Pep and Seth, usually are the problem or the roots of the fifth principle. Why me, why you, or why this? And let's focus on the why, and let's be analytical and find where we have to pay a little bit more attention. So let's summarize a little bit together. Quickly, couple more minutes, and you're going to be free to do all the work that you have to do according to the questions that I had for you. And I really hope that you're going to do that, because while you're going to do that, you're going to train the same muscle that you need in order to use these, to start to implement these 5 principles. So the number 1 is change happens before the result happens. All right, let's focus on this. Let's use this framework. Number 2, habits build goals, not otherwise. You change the habit, that's how you reach the goal. By setting goals helps to figure out what are the habits that needs to be changed. So you use it as a framework, but the focus is on the higher destination. But the habits are those little things that are going to allow you to get there. Big, and bigger. At the bottom, values, habits, everyday choices and decisions. Here's where we start. Number 3, have standards over rules. Focus on the standard rather than the rules, and change the rules according to the standard. If the standard is higher, the rule needs to be changed. Change it. Change that rule if the standard is higher, because that rule was serving another standard. Number 4, I don't know enough. It's not about what you know or don't. It's about what you believe you know or don't. And of course, it's about also other things. It's about what you don't know. And you've got to learn and know. Absolutely. But first is, do you believe it? And do you already believe what you already know? Hey, this is a greater question. Why me? Why you? Why this? Why me? Why you? Why you, or why this? Be more mindful, more analytical, and start to be more strategic, looking backward. There are clues, there are signs, and you will see maybe a habit needs to change, maybe a rule needs to be changed, maybe a standard needs to be raised, or the focus needs to be realigned. And that's how you connect the intention with the result. If you apply these 5 principles, I assure you 1,000,000% that you will get the result. And when you get it, you'll say, oh, now I can go even for more. But while respecting these 5, you'll remain also connected to yourself. All this material that I'm sharing with you it's a material that's not a merely logical or interesting, or it's not only for the mind. It is connecting your mind with your soul, with your values, with your standards, so that everything in between your intentions and the results that you're looking for, the mountain, let's call it so, are aligned so that you can have the fuel necessary in order to push and move forward and lead this process, your life, your journey, or maybe in your team and your business. Or you can simply just climb the mountain. Or just simply climb the mountain. I thank you for watching this, and I really hope that it helped. But one thing before you go, let's not focus too much on the things that we say, oh, this is so interesting. Now for sure I'm going to succeed. Yes, if you are going to climb the mountain. If you are not going to climb the mountain, then nothing is going to help. So sometimes we can use great wisdom as an excuse to keep getting wiser, keep learning, and never applying and doing what you and I already know that have to do. And if we have to climb the mountain, of course, we have to learn more and have to be reflective and wise and smart, but you've got to climb the mountain. You cannot climb the mountain if you don't climb the mountain. All right? So if you struggle with your thoughts, with your emotions, or with your strategy, or with the way you manage yourself, feel free to scan this QR code and access this program, Hack Your Mind Before It Hacks You. It's free. And now we do lots of work on the website, so it might not be available for a second or a minute or half an hour. But once you scan it, you'll get there, register for the program. It's free. You'll create your student account, and it's going to help you with one great thing: how to control your mind before it starts to control you. Well, on this powerful note, I wish you all the best and wish that you get the results and you get out of just thinking about the intentions, refining them, and not getting them. And these 5 principles, I really hope that they are going to help you to get the results and to get things done. Thank you very much for your attention, and we'll see each other in the next video. And hit subscribe, and if you know somebody very ambitious that needs a little bit of help, share this video and let's change the world. And it starts with me and you together. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.